Michael Israel. You're watching Spiritual Combat. And if you can, let me know how the audio is. We are doing the Sirach Bible study. We're doing a verse by verse Bible study through the book of Sirach, Ecclesiasticus. So we left off at chapter 7, and we're going to start on chapter 8. Okay, so like I said, what we're doing is going through it verse by verse. We're reading through each verse, and we'll read through a little bit of it and explain it. Sometimes the verses are they're grouped together with the same meaning, so we'll sometimes we break them down in together. We group them together in that manner. Okay, so we're gonna read through this thing. We're gonna get rolling. If y'all can, in the comments, just let me know if the audio's good. Let me know if I'm coming through loud and clear. And with that said, man, we're gonna keep things moving. Okay. So I'll wait to see somebody in the comments get me to go ahead that everything's clear. And while we're doing that, yes, sir. So they said loud and clear. Somebody else said it's a 10. Okay. So let me get this up here. Just give me a sec. And we're going to get moving with it. All right. So, yeah. So we're going to start at Sirach, the book of Ecclesiasticus, and it's going to be chapter 8. And it says, "Strive not with a mighty man, lest thou fall into his hands. Be not at variance with a rich man, lest he overweigh thee. For gold hath destroyed many and perverted the hearts of kings." Okay? It says, "Strive not with a man that is full of tongue, and heap not wood upon his fire. Jest not with a rude man, lest thy ancestors be disgraced. Reproach not a man that turneth from sin, but remember that we are all worthy of punishment." So what we're going to do, we're going to group, we're going to look at these first 4 and just kind of sum up what it's saying. And in a nutshell, what it's saying there is, you don't have to always argue your point. Okay. And I needed to hear that. I'll be honest. Just, with even online right now, there's a lot of drama going on. Even, with our assembly, with our ministry, and other social media influencers trying to throw shade. But these scriptures come into play there. You don't always have to justify yourself to people. At the end of the day, and we know this, we know our own righteousness. We know our own heart, where we're at. And if you know that, and you're in line with the word of the Most High, and you're good to go, it's gonna be what it like. You're gonna shine. Something I say a lot of times, something I put out there a lot is, I tell people, time always tells. Time will tell. You know what I'm saying? Time will. Sometimes I say time will work its perfect work. So all you got to do is stay diligent, stay locked in, and it'll be good to go. You know what I'm saying? Um, so all these kind of tie together in that nature where it's telling you, hey, uh, don't don't go back and forth with a mighty man. You know your place, know where you at. Don't overstep. You see what I'm saying? It also says, um, don't be at odds with a rich man. So don't try to go. So I'm saying don't go up against people who are more powerful, or count count the cost. Uh, use wisdom when you're going into battle, you're going into a fight. You know what I'm saying? So this is, again, it is written. This is in the book. You know what I'm saying? This is that wisdom. And like I said, as we read through this, man, this book exposes you'll know the people who read this book, and you'll know the people who haven't read this book. You know what I'm saying? And you'll see that as you really get into this. And it's like, I was, shoot, man, I was telling the saints here, man. I was telling the brothers. I was like, look, hey, I was reading through that thing last week on my show, and it was cutting me. Like, Sirach is definitely a double-edged sword. There's definitely uh, stuff that everybody can learn from this book. Okay, so it's a good one. It's a real one. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no fluff. It's nothing that people gonna really, that they're gonna be able to. Sirach is not a book that people gonna be able to twist up and have going one way or another. You know what I'm saying? The book of Sirach is a real book. Okay, there's not a whole lot of wiggle room on this thing. And then on top of that, as you read through this book, it'll just reiterate the same stuff as you go through it and from different angles. Okay, so you're gonna have a hard time not spotting evil. You know what I'm saying? Once you read through this book just one or two times. You know what I'm saying? So now we're going to go to verse 5. Okay. Reproach not a man that turneth from sin, but remember that we are all worthy of punishment. So that's having that humility. Before you run out there doing something, do a little spiritual audit and like, hey, do I really need to be on this level with this person? And then we didn't break down 4. Verse 4 is, jest not with a rude man, lest thy ancestors be disgraced. So this whole thing right here, and a good chunk of the last chapter is telling you got to be wise with how you express yourself, basically. And when I say express yourself, how you talk, how you confront things, everything like that. You know what I'm saying? Verse 6. And we're in the book of Sirach. It's Ecclesiasticus. It's in the Apocrypha. And we're just doing a verse by verse through it, reading each verse. And right now we are on we're in chapter 8, and let's see, chapter 8. Yeah, rejoice. Okay, so we're in chapter 8, and now we're on verse 6. Okay, and what it says is, dishonor not a man in his old age, for even some of us wax old. Okay. I'm gonna read 5 again. Okay. It says, reproach not a man that turneth from sin, but remember that we are all worthy of punishment. Okay. Dishonor not a man in his old age, for even some of us wax old. Rejoice not over the greatest enemy being dead, but remember that we die all. Okay. And that's how it's written kind of in that old English. But remember that we die all. You know, back when I was studying, this is back when I was in my 20s, I was studying, and this guy was teaching on, you know, something, important thing a lot of people need to do. Uh, Hold on one sec, y'all. Edit. Y'all give me a sec. I'm going to fix that. Yeah. But what this guy was talking about is an important thing. He was saying a lot of people need to do is that would really humble people down is simply reflect on what it's going to be like when they die. Like, really think about that. All right, hold on one sec. There we go. I was trying to fix something on here. But he was saying, you know, reflect on what it's going to be like, you know, when you die, when you pass away. And, you know, think about your life. Think about the finiteness of it. I've been to a lot of funerals. I'm telling you, man. And, you know, when death is close, you know, it has a completeness that is sobering. That's the best way to put it. It'll get you out of your feelings and out of anything that's got a lot of bullshit in it. It'll get you out of it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you know, let's see. So we're going to continue reading. So that goes right back to that verse I just read where it says, rejoice not over the greatest enemy being dead. Okay. Over thy greatest enemy being dead. But remember that we die all. What that's going to do is that's a heavy verse. That's heavy. This is a heavier verse than a lot of people probably realize, because what it's telling you is, you know, and look, this is good for me in this situation, because all this right now at this current time, that we got people out there, naysayers, making videos full of lies and everything. And it's easy to get caught up in that, and it's easy to get distracted by that. And, you know, at the end of the day, in a long term, you know, if you take a long look at things, stuff like that doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? It means less than nothing. And why would that be so? How does that make sense? Make that make sense? Because we're here to work our salvation out with fear and trembling, you know. And you know, while we do some, and while I still, you know, while if the need be, I'll bring out some truth about some of the situations I see going on. Can't get consumed in it. And that even goes back to where it says, what did it say? Strive not with the man that's full of tongue. You have people out here, that's all they just all talk. You have a lot of people, they're full of tongue. They literally have, that's their life. They have perfected the skill of talk and not fruit. And you can get sucked into that, and it's so subtle. You know what I'm saying? And we got to remember what matters. We have to use our time wisely on this earth to work our salvation out with fear and trembling. So it says, rejoice not over thy greatest enemy being dead, but remember that we die all. Despise not the discourse of the wise. So don't despise the discourse, the chance, the opportunity to spend time around wise people who have wisdom. I don't. I do not despise the discourse of the wise. Uh, you know, Sister Corey could probably tell you, I stay up late at night listening, studying stuff, listening to wise people, seeking out answers on things, trying to get things rectified, trying to grow and develop. You know what I'm saying? Trying to grow, trying to develop. Um, yeah, I do that. It says, despise not the discourse of the wise, but acquaint thyself with their proverbs. For of them thou shalt learn instruction and how to serve great men with ease. Okay? And that's something I learned late in life, I would say. Kind of late in life, in my 40s. I'm almost in my 50s now. But I learned in my 40s how to serve great men with ease. How to what? How to humble myself. How to just shut up and humble myself and be able to recognize and acknowledge that someone is greater than me, that they whether it's in this area or just in life or whatever, they're on a higher level than me, and I can just humble down and serve, be obedient to them in whatever capacity that might be, whether it's at work, working for a boss who might be difficult. I've done this. Or whether it's in ministry, whether it's according to Yah's word, you know what I'm saying? Serving the man that the Most High has put in my life for me to be obedient to. There's something I implement here in Straitway. There's a lot of leaders here, and I follow them, follow the example set forth. And why? Because I didn't listen to their speech much. I looked at their actions and their fruit. Okay. And I discerned the fruit that they were bringing forth to be fruit of wisdom, and fruit of righteousness. And let me get the Eurocentric Christianity understanding of fruit off of what you might be thinking. Because when I say fruit, I'm talking about how men respond in certain types of situations. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about how I'm talking about the fruit you see in men's lives. You know, what are they bringing forth? What do they have around them? What's going on with them? Or you see some men, they don't have anything going for. You know, I'm gonna be doing a show soon on fruit, because again, that's another thing that has been through this European Christian understanding of things. What fruit means, according to the Eurocentric Christianity, is, according to it, is sugary speech and just kind talk and love and we love and all this stuff and all that crap like that. And them be some of the wickedest people. They talk smooth speech, but they ain't about nothing. You see what I'm saying? That footwork ain't there. Okay. And for those of y'all, real quick, if you haven't already, hit that like button for me so we can get this out there. That helps us get it out there. All right. So let's continue reading. It says, miss not the discourse of the elders, for they also learn of their fathers, and of them thou shalt learn understanding, and to give answer as need requireth. So again, you get around older people, and you'll know when the time is when they begin having fruitful discourse and wisdom begins coming forth. And if you're young, shut up, don't talk, take it in. It's an opportunity. It's a rarity to have that opportunity. And I watch so many people who have that. Man, I went through a good chunk of my life looking for that, and by the time I found it, I was one of the older people, who had a little bit of wisdom or whatever. So because it's crazy, because listen, you get out here, like I'm so removed from the majority of what these heathens do out here in the world. In fact, a lot of the drama going on now kind of popped my little bubble, and I had to kind of go back out there and see just the silliness of some of these people out here. And it's just it's vexing, to say the least, but it's a necessary thing. Sometimes you got to go out there and, go out there and bang on them heathens, and what they're saying sometimes. But out there among the heathens, things now, the young people are the wisdom, but it's like totally backwards. And if you're older, you're just discarded as some old dummy. You don't know nothing. I'm on the internet. I know about the internet, blah, blah, blah. That's the way it is now. Okay? We're at Sirach chapter 8. We're going on verse 10. It says, kindle not the coals of a sinner, lest thou be burnt with the flame of his fire. So again, dealing with these, getting caught up with stuff with these wicked ass sinners out here. Look, once you identify somebody to be a sinner, remove yourself from them. You know what I'm saying? Once you see somebody submitted to Satan, leave them. let them serve Satan. They'll figure it out. But at least they won't burn you. Okay? Verse 11 says, rise not up in anger at the presence of an injurious person, lest he lie in wait to entrap thee in thy words. So that word injurious means causing or likely to cause damage or harm. Okay? So likely or more than likely to cause damage or harm. Rise not up in anger at the presence of an injurious man, lest he lie in wait to entrap thee in thy words. Okay? So, all right. So, like I said, you just have to use wisdom when you engage people and situations. That's not to say, like a lot of people say, as soon because and women, okay, this makes sense for women, okay, but a lot of men are effeminate, okay. You get a lot of men, they try to avoid conflict. I'm not saying avoid conflict, okay. You just have to use wisdom when you have to engage in conflict. And that's what all these Bible verses are saying. They're giving you stuff you need to consider before you engage in conflict. But is there a time to engage in conflict? 100% absolutely. Okay? All right, let me see. Somebody has a question or a statement. Let me see if it's pertinent to what we're talking about. If it is, I will engage it. About how the drama being Okay, yeah. You would have to come on. You'd have to come on one of my other live streams. I'd bring you on when I do like a real talk one, but we're doing a Bible study, so I'm just staying on topic, on course with our Bible study. Okay, so lend not in unto him that is mightier than thee, for if thou lendest him, count it but loss. So if you do lend to someone who's mightier than you, just say, you know what, it's theirs. If I get it back, it's good. You know what I'm saying? If I don't, I gave it to him anyway. You know? All right. Be not surety above thy power, for if thou be surety, take care to pay it. Okay. So don't vouch for a loan above what you're able to do it. Okay. So just using wisdom, being prudent, thinking ahead. Okay. Go not to law with a judge, for they will judge for him according to his honor. Okay. So again, it's telling you, don't just recklessly go jump in and go do something. Count the cost, use wisdom. Okay. Travel not by the way with a bold fellow, lest he become grievous unto thee, for he will do according to his own will, and thou shalt perish with him through his folly. Okay? Strive not with the angry man, and go not with him into a solitary place, for blood is as nothing in his sight, and where there is no help, he will overthrow thee. Consult not with a fool, for he cannot keep counsel. So what it's telling you is, you know, when you're dealing with people, you want to discern their character and the type of person they are. You want to use discernment when you're dealing with people. You gotta take care of who you have around you. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Do not secret things before a stranger, for thou knowest not what he will bring forth. Okay? Again, using wisdom. The first part of this chapter was telling you to use wisdom on how you deal with stuff. The second half of this chapter has been telling you, now look at the people around you and categorize how they deal with stuff, and be careful of who you're around. You see what I'm saying? Just showing you how to use wisdom, moving through situations. Open not thine heart to every man, lest he requite thee with a shrewd turn. Okay? And requite, let's see. To make return for. Okay, that's what requite means. Or to give or to do something in return for something that someone else has given or done. So basically kind of payback type deal. Okay? And like I said, you know, part of, and we're gonna be getting into this in future lessons, is like the insecurity of men. There's a lot of men, they're insecure, and we're going to break down what insecure means, what low self-esteem means. We're going to break it down in a granular level, because I watch a lot of men, they operate in insecurity. You got a lot of men, man, they've come up, and because they came up, maybe some of them came up in dysfunctional families and stuff has happened to them, or whatever it is, you grow up lopsided, and you know, there's certain areas that you just never nobody ever took the time to help you develop in certain areas as a child and everything. So now you grow up, but you're developmentally arrested in certain areas. So certain areas of your personality, you're like a child. You function and operate like a child in those areas. And these are areas that need to be brought to attention, has to be brought to them. And you know, you gotta put that work in so you could be a whole man. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's keep it moving. Let's see, we got that. So that is the end of chapter 8. Okay. Now we're gonna go to Sirach chapter 9. Okay. All right. So we're going to the next. Oh. All right. So we are on Sirach chapter 9. Be not jealous over the wife of thy bosom, and teach her not an evil lesson against thyself. Okay? This verse here, this ain't for the faint of heart. You need to really it could mess you up a little bit, but it tells you don't be jealous over your wife. So don't be one of those needy, clingy, obsessive dudes who's like jealous if anything happened with their wife or anything. And then what you're doing, you're teaching her a bad lesson about who you are as a man. Okay? So that's kind of a breakdown of that. Verse 2, give not thy soul unto a woman to set her foot upon thy substance. Okay? This verse right here, this is going to be part of that lesson we're going to do later on where, with insecure men who lack self-identity, they lack they lack a foundation, a masculine foundation. So they're not standing on nothing. So when a woman comes with that superpower she has, and what's the superpower? The power a man has is his willpower, which trumps everything. But what's the power that a woman has? Women have the power of influence. They're able to influence people with their speech, with their looks, with them hips and dips and curves, you name it. A woman's whole design is designed to influence. You know what I'm saying? And if you a soft, weak, effeminate man with no ground, and you're not grounded in your masculinity and in your identity of who you are as a man, you're gonna fall victim to women. And this happens a lot. And these men are, they have these, you'd be hard pressed to call them men. These males, in their mind, because of their pride and because they've walked in this manner for so long, they don't see anything wrong with them. It's just those women. But no, dude, you're not a man. You're not grounded in a masculine sense. You ain't standing on business, buddy. You see what I'm saying? So when that woman comes, and a woman, you know this is Yah made, because a woman, just by her nature and the way she is going to test you through thoroughly whether you're a man. Like, just the way they are by their nature tests whether you're a real man. And the relationship is the report card of your masculinity, whether you're a man or not. And I'm telling you, look, I hate to get back into it again. We've had some naysayers come against the ministry saying, oh, they took my wife and this, that, and the other and all this stuff. And because I've studied biblical masculinity and just masculinity as a whole, I made a conscious effort at the age of 26 to study this stuff. And I've been studying it all the way up to now. I'm almost 50. And just looking at and listening to some of these dudes, you could see the effeminate traits in them. Like they're dripping off them. And to them, like they can't even see it. Like it's not even in their reality. And trying to explain to them that they're an effeminate man and that it's going to be hell for them in a relationship, and trying to explain that to them is like trying to teach a fish how to ride a bike. It's literally just, it's not going to happen. And I just run across so many men that are so deeply ingrained in being a feminine men, and they fully identify, whether they unconsciously, it's on a deep unconscious level, they fully identify with giving their soul unto women to set her foot upon their substance. They identify like this is their reality. Okay? This is real talk. Meet not with a harlot, lest thou fall into her snares. And hey, look, again, I've been all over the so-called Hebrew Israelite community. And yes, I've met the Hebrews out there. They believe, hey, you could get a hooker, it ain't a sin. And technically, you really want to buckle it all the way down? It's not. And they be out there, I'm telling you, there are groups out there, I ain't even gonna name them. There's one camp in particular, they say, hey, you could get harlots. You know what I'm saying? You go out there and get a hooker. It's not a sin. But here it is in Sirach, a granular breakdown of the law, statutes, and commandments, and it says, meet not with a harlot, lest thou fall into her snares. Use not, we're going to verse 4 now. Use not much the company of a woman that is a singer, lest thou be taken with her attempts. Okay? And let's see. And what it says in a more broken down version is, don't keep company with female musicians. They will trick you. Hey, I met back in the day, back before I came to truth, all that. I talked to, now we ain't getting no relationship, nothing like that, but there was a woman who was a singer that, I could feel her power. Because I already said a woman's superpower is her power of influence, where she could convince people of stuff and influence you in ways that she might want. And you throw that in with like a woman who could sing and perform, boy, forget about it. She turned the average jelly-back dude in a putty. She'd turn that dude into a puddle on the floor. Okay? Y'all, that's 100. You know what I'm saying? All right. Give not on a maid that thou fall not by those things that are precious in her. Oh, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. Gaze not on a maid that thou fall not by those things that are precious in her. Okay? So again, this is going back to what I'm telling you men about a woman's power of influence, like them curves and them hips and them dips and them lips. Nah, I'm just like, but you see what I'm saying? You got to use wisdom, y'all. It's like I'm telling you, man. I know how. Hey, I could look at a woman and appreciate her beauty, and then I could keep looking, and you'll get sucked into that. It's powerful, man. It's a powerful thing. It says, "Give not thy soul unto harlots, that thou lose not thine inheritance." And you see this all the time. You look in the NBA, you can look at all these athletes, how they fall victim to these women. They were talking about how they brief these NBA players to, you know, after they done, making out these women, they tell them to take the condom, and they tell them to flush it down the toilet themselves. These dudes is, man, you could go look up the stories, man. These dudes is like, boy, like you think about it, you make it into the NBA and everybody know who you are because the NBA, you're not wearing nothing to cover your face. So everybody knows who you are. And they see you coming a mile away because you daggone taller than a flagpole. You know what I'm saying? So you just got a huge target on you, And we're going to get into that of how to discern a righteous woman. Okay? Give not thy soul unto harlots, that thou lose not thine inheritance. Look not round about thee in the streets of the city, neither wander thou in the solitary place thereof. So it's telling you, don't be going, like, why are you downtown in some city at a Saturday night eating out somewhere at Saturday night downtown in some city somewhere out late at night? I'm not out late at night. You know what I'm saying? They ain't like after about 8 o'clock, ain't nothing good out. Whatever you find outside, especially but when it get 10 o'clock, forget about it. There ain't nothing good out. There's only trouble out there at 10. So why are you out late at night? What you out doing? All right. Verse 8, turn away thine eye from a beautiful woman, and look not upon another's beauty. For many have been deceived by the beauty of a woman. For herewith love is kindled as a fire. Okay? Let's read in the other version. Let's see, because now sometimes they'll try to water this stuff down. Let's see what they do on this. When you see a good-looking woman, look the other way. Don't let your mind dwell on the beauty of any woman who is not your wife. Many men have been led astray by a woman's beauty. It kindles passion as if it were fire. And a better word was it kindles lust. Because if you keep looking at a woman, you look at a woman too long, you'll become full of lust. You'll be lusting after her. Okay? And we will, again, we're going to be doing a show. We're going to be doing a series on a real talk series. I did one a while back. It's high time to do another one. And we're going to do a series. It's going to be on lust. It's going to be on pornography. It's going to be on molestation. It's going to be it's going to be heavy. We're not ducking no smoke on this thing because nobody's teaching on it. It's like the elephant in the room. And it's like you begin talking to brothers and sisters out there, and you find people are wrestling with either all of them or some of them. You know what I mean? And it's real, and it has destroyed a lot of people. I know in my life, I've seen a lot of death and destruction of people over over lust, molestation, pornography addiction. What else? masturbation, all the real stuff, them big elephants in the room. You see it all through the Bible, but nobody's speaking on it. You see what I'm saying? But we're gonna get gritty and come down the middle with it. You know what I'm saying? And look, these are the only shows that you're gonna see all these trolls come in there, satanic possessed trolls. And let's get on this real quick. It's really not gonna take away. Isn't it funny? Over the last couple weeks, I've been inviting trolls to come right on the show. You know what I'm saying? I've been telling the troll, hey, come on the show, man, and bring them on the show. And have not we seen that these people are like emotional? They can't control themselves. I give them the floor. I'll let them talk for like 2 or 3 minutes straight. And then I'll say, okay, it's my turn to answer your question or to give a response. I'll let them talk for 2 or 3 minutes straight, uninterrupted. And then I get on to speak again. I'm 10 seconds into what I got to say and they're talking over me. These are emotional people. So, and those people come out when I really begin digging into stuff that Satan has just real intense strongholds on people with. You know what I'm saying? So, all right, let's keep this moving. It says, turn away thine eye from beautiful woman. Okay, so we read that. That was a good verse there. It says, sit not at all with another man's wife, nor sit down with her in thine arms, and spend not thine money with her at the wine, lest thine heart incline unto her, and so thy desire thou fall into destruction. Okay? So that's a good one there. You know what I'm saying? That coming straight down the middle with it. And again, grouping all these verses together is what it's saying is this: you gotta use wisdom with, and it's particularly warning you with women, because again, that their superpower is influence. And for them to influence you, all you have to do is give them some of your attention, and that's enough. If you're a weak, soft dude, if you're a feminine and emotional and all that stuff, if you that type of dude, they will grab you in with their power of influence. And an evil woman knows how to use that like a weapon, okay? To her own destruction too. Y'all put a 100 up in there if I'm making sense, if you get what I'm saying, all right? All right, forsake not an old friend, for the new is not comparable to him. A new friend is as new wine. When it is old, thou shalt drink it with pleasure. Envy not the glory of a sinner, for thou knowest not what shall be his end. So let's hit all that, because that was 2 different things. I got saints here in our assembly that they've been with our assembly since the beginning, and they've been a brother and they've been a friend, and that is not to be taken lightly, because somebody been rocking with you for that period of time. You could guarantee with a high degree of certainty they're gonna rock with you all the more. You know what I'm saying? So, and again, it's book, okay? Envy not the glory of a sinner. So if you see somebody who's in wickedness and they're doing good and it's all great, you're like, man, like I remember back in the day, I'm like, man, look at this rapper, whatever particular rapper it be. Like those rappers that I used to watch when I was young, like when I was 19, when I was 16 and stuff. And my mother be like telling me, hey, that's not righteous what they're doing. And I'm like, but Ma, they getting women, They got cars. They get money. But this Bible verse comes in because them same rappers that I used to look up to back in the day, man, they put a show out and they were talking about how many of them rappers are they were talking about how many of them rappers are up there driving Ubers and just ain't got two pennies to rub together. A lot of them then died off. They just were broker than broke could be. One of them was just saying how it was the worst thing that happened to him, that he got popular with some rap song, but then he couldn't get do anything else, and he couldn't get a job anywhere because everybody knew who he was, and it was just this whole thing. Dude ended up driving Ubers. Can't make this stuff up, y'all. Okay, it says, delight not in the thing that the ungodly have pleasure in. Okay? But remember, they shall not go unpunished unto their grave. Y'all, is what I just said. Hey, look, the Most High moves slow. The Most High moves slow. Okay? He moves slower than I want. Like, I'd be like, come on, y'all. Like, hit that dude with a boat, please. But he teaching me patience. Keep thee far from the man that have the power to kill. So shalt thou not doubt the fear of death. And if thou come unto him, make no fault, lest he take away thy life presently. This is what I tell people who like to go back and forth with police officers and argue with them and try to do all these tricks with police officers and stuff. Okay. That man has a power to kill you. Okay. You get pulled over by a police officer, comply with what he's asking you to do. You know what I'm saying? And if thou come unto him, look, you see what it's saying? It's what I just told you about, y'all, when y'all come around these police officers. It says, and if thou come unto him, make no fault, lest he take away thy life presently. And I taught that on one of my shows years ago. And this dude came in the show I did after that, and he said, man, after I watched your show, Mike, a police officer pulled him over in his neighborhood. He was walking in his neighborhood, came up to him, and he said he remembered what I had told him in that show, and he didn't argue with that police officer. That dude could have killed him, You don't know. But this is Bible. And when I watch a lot of those police shootings that happen out there, it's like almost 99% of the time the dude's trying to argue back with the cop. And mind you, the cops be wicked as hell and wrong. Don't get it twisted. Don't think because I know, trust me, I've had my fair share of run-ins with them. I used to race out in the street, race cars and stuff, and do all types of other dumb stuff. But I always knew, don't go back and forth with them. Don't get in your feelings, get in your body, and get all emotional and effeminate and start, again, what did we read in the chapter before this about who to engage with and how to engage with people? Okay? It says, remember that thou goest in the midst of snares, and that thou walkest upon the battlements of the city. So remember, you going out into a wicked area where it is set up. You're going out in the midst of snares. These cops are traps set up to enslave you in prison. The whole system And don't come on here getting emotional because you're a police officer or you're a correction officer or you work in the legal system. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the system. The system is an oppressive system designed to keep slavery going. It's just slavery rebranded. It's called law enforcement. Okay? Just like the school system is a public fool system, educating you to be a good slave. And just like the military is Babylon's wicked ass army designed to conquer the world and is wicked and it's satanic. And I was in it. So I'm not in my feelings about it. It's just facts. And people got to wake up and recognize what's going on and stop trying to be a part of their enemy's nation. The word says, gather yourselves, O nation not desired. You're a nation that is not desired. And look at we're treated in this country. You can't tell that you're a nation not desired. Come on, y'all. Let's keep this thing 100. All right. So it says, as near as thou canst guess at thy neighbor. Let's see. Okay. So here it is. As near as thou canst guess at thy neighbor and consult with the wise. Okay. We're going to read that in another version because dang old English. Get to know the people around you as well as you can, and take advice only from those who are qualified to give it. Man, boy, is that big old facts. Okay? That's big old facts. Hey, bless you, Deacon Dave. Deacon Dave's in there. Deacon Dave said, if your paperwork don't match up with your speech, then yes, they will abuse your rights. They will. And that's not, I like there is a way, you could deal with these police if you understand the law. If you understand law, because a lot of us are lawless. A lot of Israel is just for years they function in lawlessness. So when laws implemented, they don't know nothing. But when you understand law and then you understand their laws, you can deal with them. You could actually, it's like being Neo in the Matrix. That's when you're walking in a high level of righteousness and obedience. Deacon Dave and Elder Kabir up there, that's how they function. They literally like Neo in the Matrix when it comes to the legal system out there, because they get it. And they testing it out too. I'm letting them test it, but they know. I'm telling you, they know how to. They are like Neo in the Matrix with this thing. All right. So it says that was a heavy verse there that I read, man. And you see why some of this stuff you gotta break it down in another version. You could get a much more juicier meaning from it. As near as thou canst, go as thy neighbor and consult with the wise. Let thy talk be with the wise, and all thy communication in the law of the Most High. Listen, I like that verse there. I get that. That's so deeply ingrained. I get that on an emotional level. Like my emotions have been converted over to that verse that I just read right there, where it says, let thy talk be with the wise and all thy communication in the law of the Most High. Like when I get around a person, they want to talk about sports and all this other stuff. And I'm not saying I don't talk about sports. We talk about sports or some fight that happened or whatever, But eventually it always comes back to the Most High. And that's what the brothers I got here in our assembly. It always come back to the Most High. You know what I'm saying? It always comes back to his word and his life we're living and about meaningful things. So that's big facts right there. And it says, and let just men eat and drink with thee, and let thy glorying be in the fear of the Lord. So be around people who are like-minded, serious-minded, got the right mindset. For the hand of the artificer, the work shall be commended, and the wise ruler of the people for his speech. Okay? So we're going to break this down. First thing I'm going to do is define that word, artificer. Okay? We're going to get that. And the definition is, the meaning of artificer is a skilled or artistic worker or craftsman. How to use art. So that's the definition of it. Okay. So for the hand of the skilled or crafted worker shall be commended, and the wise ruler of the people for his speech. Okay. So let's read it in another version. Maybe we'll get a deeper understanding. A skilled worker is admired for the things he makes, and a leader's wisdom is proved by his words. And again, I'm gonna say this: like this situation we got going on again, because a lot of y'all gonna be watching. Probably years from now, y'all might not be aware of the whole situation. It's just a little YouTube spat where people are saying lies about our assembly. And what we're doing is confronting them on it. But we're confronting them in wisdom. We're not just going back and forth with them like, oh, you said this, and going back and forth. We're exposing the unrighteousness of the statements they're making and showing in the Bible how unrighteous they are, and it's also making the people keen and wise on how to spot unrighteous deceivers, how to spot wolves in sheep's clothing. You see what I'm saying? Okay. A man of an ill tongue is dangerous in his city, and he that is rash in his talk shall be hated. Okay? A man of an ill tongue is dangerous in his city, and he that is rash in his talk shall be hated. Okay? So it says here, someone who speaks rashly and recklessly is feared and hated by everyone in town. Okay? So that one is self-explanatory, and then I read it in a more expanded translation. That was a Good News translation. All right. If any of y'all got any questions, comments, concerns, you can go ahead and put them in there now. We're gonna be wrapping this one up soon, and I will be coming back on here a little later, or probably right after this with a different show. But it says, somebody said, well, you could come on the next one. Somebody asked, I'd like to come on, Michael. I know what you mean about how the drama being vexing. You can tell the fruits of a man by how humble that man is, and if that man represents the character of Christ. Sure thing. Yeah, now again, what I have to do, okay, when I go through this, some people, when they hear what I just read, you hear it through a Eurocentric Christian lens. That's how you see it. You see it through a Eurocentric Christian lens. Because when somebody says man has to represent the character of Christ, you see what I'm saying? Immediately you hear, oh, sugar plums and gumdrops and pretty flowers, and that's what you got to speak in a high voice and very softly, never put any bass in your voice, and use nice words and make people smile and feel good. And that is in the character of Christ. That is being seen and heard through a Eurocentric filter, manipulative Eurocentric filter. You know what I'm saying? Because when you get in that book and you read about how Christ was, he said, I perceive thou art an austere man. Let's see what austere means. Okay? And let me see if I can spell it first. Yeah, I know I didn't get that. Okay. Let me see if this might work. Hold on. Austere. Okay.
Definition of austere: severe or strict in manner, attitude, or appearance.
Okay. So this is in the book where this dude came up to Christ and his discernment of how Christ was he said, you are an austere man. I perceive that you are an austere man. And that's severe or strict in manner, attitude, or appearance. Okay? So, again, I want to go, hey, we got, like I said, we have this situation going on, and a lot of people don't like confrontation. Okay? Confrontation can be uncomfortable, but when you're a righteous man, unrighteousness is way more uncomfortable than confrontation. So you're more than willing to confront people in their unrighteousness. You see what I'm saying? So we gotta keep 100 was 100. All right. Let's see. So yeah, but yeah, so that dude, if he's around on the next one, he could come on there. Okay, so I didn't really see anything in there, but yeah, I'll be back on. I hope this was edifying. What I'm gonna do is I might edit this up a little bit. But I hope this was an edifying, Bible study, and appreciate all y'all tuning in. I'm Michael Israel. You watching Spiritual Combat, and shalom, shalom.